Hello, my name is Christopher Tate, and I want to show you how to create a base virtual machine image on your shiny new Libvirt hypervisor. In my last video, I explained how to install Libvirt with proper bridge networking for virtual machines on your home router network. This is with the goal to have your OpenShift routes available on the network for all your computers to access, thanks to a virtual machine running a DNS Identity Management server. So start by downloading the latest DVD ISO for CentOS 7 x86 64 here. We'll go to http://www.centos.org/download. Or you can do a Google search for that. Let me pull up Firefox here. Okay. So, CentOS download. There it is. Go there and we download this DVD ISO. But I already have that installed here. Let me just show you it. Downloads/CentOS 7. So it's 4.2 gigabytes. So it takes a while to download. So I downloaded it before, and you can choose a mirror there. You just have to find one that works good for you. And then when it's downloaded, then you can open up your virt manager with a sudo virt-manager. Enter your password. The other way is to find it here. You can find it here as well. Virtual Machine Manager. Okay, so now we have it open. Now we can create a new virtual machine with this button right here. Let me move this over so you can see better. Okay, so create a new virtual machine. It's going to be a local install media ISO image. So we do forward, and we're going to use the ISO image. I can browse to it. I click browse, and then I click browse local. And then if I go to home, my home directory here, /downloads, then we can find it here, CentOS 7. Okay, so it was automatically able to detect it's Linux, and its version is CentOS 7, so that's cool, but it's not super important there. Okay, so we go forward, and you can always change these values later, but I'm going to go with memory RAM of 2048 MIB, maybe bytes, and I'll go with 2 CPUs. For me, I could go up to this and this, but for you, it's going to be different. Anyway, this isn't going to be a heavily used server, so no big deal. Okay. So now, we are going to create a disk image. And for this, I would recommend at least 2048. No. Sorry, that's not right. I would recommend at least 100 gigabytes of space there. Now, you may have more than one disk on your computer, like I do, and I have a home partition that's bigger than my root partition. You can see here with the df space -h that my root drive is only 231 gigs, and my home drive is 1.8 terabytes. So I want to use that home drive because it's bigger. It'll let me create bigger disks. So I'm going to, you can, if you're fine, if you just have one disk and it's big enough, then you can do that here. But for me, I'm going to select or create a custom image and manage that. Don't mind my hound dog in the background. Okay, so you can set up a storage pool by clicking Add Pool and give it a name and give it a directory. Let's see. So let's create one called test. And then you just browse to the directory where you want that image pool created. And for me, I already have one set up here called Tate. And so in this pool, I can see how much I have free. And so I'm going to create a new volume. And for me, this disk is going to be called, or this virtual machine is going to be called base-apps. And so I can name it whatever I want, but for me, I'll do base-apps.qcow2. And qcow2 is my favorite format. It's actually really clever because you can actually point your qcow to another qcow, and that other qcow is the base image for it. And so you can layer your qcow as deep as you want to have these layers of file system changes, kind of like a Docker image. So it's pretty cool. It's more powerful than raw. And qcows are more easy to, or they're easier to resize. So you can actually take a qcow and resize that qcow file, and then you can go into the system, the virtual machine system, and resize the disk on the system to max it out to that resized qcow file, which is really cool if you run out of space on it. So it's good to avoid that hassle and just create it big enough that you don't need to worry about it. So I chose a drive that's big enough to handle that and finish. It doesn't actually take up all the space on the drive, but if you do a ls-l command, you might get confused because it'll show like 200 gigabytes file, but then you do a df-h and look at your file system usage, and it's actually a lot smaller than that because it really only takes up whatever you've put on that disk, which is pretty clever. Okay, so I'm going to choose that volume now. And so it's set up there. Okay, forward. Okay, now we can do customizations here. I want it on my bridge network. So this is my bridge network here, which is good. I want this to be part of my router home network so that it can be available from other machines. And then we might do one other customization here. We can add a channel of Qemu guest agent. The guest agent is useful for a few different things, but sometimes virtual machines can't do stuff that you want it to out of the box, and you add guest agent and a guest agent, and then it can do more. The device type will be Unix. It'll be auto socket and finish. Okay. So then, here we have that. Oh, in fact, We don't have to do that because it already did it. So let's remove it. Okay, now we just have one. Okay, so now we can begin installation. All right, so it's booting into the ISO file, which is awesome. Okay, so I've already validated this ISO and I know it works. And so I'm going to escape this to speed up the process and step you through. Oh, let me move this over here too and stretch it out a bit. Okay. One thing that the guest editions will do for you is it'll resize the virtual machine based on what you resize the VM to in this little screen here. Although you may need to, there's also some guest agent packages that you install when your operating system is set up that activate those. And so we got to wait till then before that'll kick in. But here we are. Welcome to CentOS 7. And I'm going to choose English as my language. Continue here. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is in System, Network, and Hostname, I click on that. And then I turn on the internet. Okay, so it gave me an address, IP address, right on my router network. Yay! 192.168.1.22. That means our bridge network is working. Okay, so then can leave the host name as whatever, or you can change it, but I'm going to leave it like that because we're going to change the host name later. So done with that part. Okay, next we can change the date time. For me, I'm in Salt Lake City, which is close to Denver. So I'm going to choose Denver and leave network time on. But this is going to install NTP, which is going to be blown away later by the IPA server install. But that's fine. We'll change that when we get there. Okay, so then now we can choose the installation destination. Let's see. Let's also change the software selection to, we're going to do server with GUI here. And that's all we really need. Okay. So we click done there. It's going to resolve some dependencies. Meanwhile, we can go into installation destination. And let's see. Here we go. And configure our disk. So it's got this checkbox here. So if you click on it, it'll uncheck it, which is not good. We need it checked. And so we leave it checked like that. And then I always like to configure the partitioning myself. Okay, so you can encrypt the data too, if you like. Okay, so I will configure my own partitioning and click done. So here you can start with a nice setup already by clicking right here. Click here to create them automatically. But then we're going to adjust these. So it's easiest, I would recommend deleting the home partition because we might as well just make this all one root partition. I like that better. You can make the root partition take up the rest of the space besides the swap and boot partitions. It does not make sense to divide the disks of a virtual machine any more than they have to. Multiple QCOW files for the same virtual machine is generally excessive, since QCOW2 files can be resized if necessary and the virtual machine disks can be extended. So I always like to change this to double the size, which is 2048 MIB. Because after many system updates, this can get filled up and it's a pain to clean it up. So I do that. And then adjust the swap size if you want. I would say it should be at least as much as the amount of RAM you will ever have in the system, but never more than double the size of RAM. But 2048 MIB should be fine. Mainly that has to do with putting the system to sleep. Okay, so then you go to slash and we will delete the desired capacity. We just delete that there. And then we can update the settings. And the settings will be maxed out to the rest of the size of the QCOW file. So that's what we want right there. Okay, so that looks done to me. You can click Accept Changes, and this disk is ready to go. So we can click Begin Installation. Okay, so this is going to take quite a while. Meanwhile, we can set a root password. So I'll do that here. Wait for it. It's a busy machine right now. Okay. Choose a good root password. You have to push done twice if the root password is weak. And then we will create a user. Full name, I'll make it Christopher Tate. Username ctate is just right. I'll make this user administrator so I can do sudo commands and give it a password. Click done twice if your password is weak. And that's it. Now you just have to wait. Okay, so once your operating system for your base apps virtual machine is complete, you'll restart and be able to log in. So I'm going to log in here. And now we will install some applications. So we create a base image and use it more than once to provide a consistent base of applications for all our virtual machines, which is really helpful. First, we will install Qemu guest agent. With the guest agent, you can do helpful things like auto resize the VM to the window and share directories between the hypervisor and virtual machine, for example. So let's do that here. We'll open a terminal and sudo yum install -y qemu -guest -agent. Enter my password. Okay, so I already installed that earlier. I cheated. Okay, so then now if we do, let's see, let's try this. There we go. Now we got that VM to scale, which is kind of fun. All right, so now we will install the yum cron to make it yum a little faster overall. Sudo yum install -y yum cron. Oh, well, sometimes a cron process will block yum. And so we're going to have to wait for that. There we go. That didn't take long. Okay, so we got a yum cron. Now we can install the EPEL repository and my favorite terminal, Yakuwake, and set it up as an auto start application. That way I can pull down a terminal with the F12 key and do split terminals and multiple terminal tabs. I've even scripted Yakuwake to open several terminals at once and SSH into various locations with one command and run the commands to monitor things. Very handy for DevOps. So I do a sudo yum install -y EPEL release. Okay, and now I can do a sudo yum install -y Yakuwake. This will have a few more dependencies. Okay, Yakuwake is installed. Now we'll make an auto start on boot. Well, when we log in, I mean. So we do a mkdir space -p space ~/.config /auto start to create an auto start directory, hidden directory. And then we make a symbolic link, ln space -s space /usr /share /applications /kde4 /yakuwake.desktop to ~/.config /auto start. Okay, just like that. Now we'll see this here. And when we start the next time, Yakuwake will start automatically. But for now, we need to start it with searching for Yakuwake. And then you can choose your hotkey for it. I like F12. It's the default. So I hit OK. And now I can resize, well, I can hide my console, I can add multiple tabs, and I can split my screen as much as I want. And I love it. I can also split screens somewhere. I forget where. Oh yeah, you right click. Yeah. I forget where to do it, but I press Control-Shift left paren or right paren to do it up or side to side. Anyway, just so you know. Okay, so now, instead of sharing directories with my hypervisor and virtual machines, I prefer to use SyncThing. It can sync files nearly instantly over the network or over the internet securely. It is my favorite way to share files, and it is open source. We will use it to share the directory of SSL certificates for our domain with all physical and virtual machines on the network. So we'll install SyncThing like this. Sudo yum install -y go and get. Put in my password again. We need Go to compile SyncThing because it's written in Go. And Git to pull down Git sources from GitHub. You'll find that I like to install applications from source. It's just, I know where the Git repo is, and I can always pull down any version that I know that works. The thing about SyncThing, though, is that you need to, it'll auto-update itself if you install it from source, and you want it always up to date, because if you're syncing to your Android phone, for example, and you use the Android SyncThing app, then it's always auto-updating itself, and you need all of your systems to update themselves, or else you may find yourself between incompatible versions of SyncThing, and then your files will stop syncing, which is not good. So this way, I can always keep it up to date with the latest version. And sometimes the repositories don't allow that. Okay, now we have Go and we have Git. So now we can make a directory for our SyncThing sources. Sudo mkdir /usr local src SyncThing space. We'll create another one for the running instance of SyncThing, the service, SyncThing service, in /srv/SyncThing. Create both of those directories. And then we will give them both our user permissions to make it easy. With the sudo space chown space $user uppercase letters, colon, space, and then our directory paths. Now we can git clone https://github.com/syncthing/syncthing.git into usr/local/src/syncthing go. Now we have our syncthing sources, and we will cd into usr/local/src/syncthing. And we'll check out a stable branch that we know of. So I will do git checkout v0.14.48. Feel free to, well, actually, let me show you. You can do a git tag and be able to find the latest stable version of syncthing here. So I'll do that. I'll take that and I'll type git checkout that version. Okay. Now we will build syncthing. We type go space run space build.go space tar. It'll build a tar file, complete tar file binary, everything. Done. Now we just need to extract that tar where we want it to run with a tar space tar space xvf space /usr/local/src/syncthing/syncthing -linux etc.tar.gz into /usr let me do a big C /srv/syncthing to put it in there. And then we're going to --strip components equal to 1. So it'll take off that first directory and just put in everything under that. Okay. The result is in /srv/syncthing. We have our syncthing binary there. Yeah. Okay. Now, in order for syncthing to communicate correctly, we're going to adjust the firewall a little bit. So we're going to open some ports, sudo firewall-cmd space --add -port equals 22,000 /tcp space --zone equals trusted space --permanent. That will allow all trusted computers to access port 22,000 on this computer. Success. Okay, we're going to add a couple more ports. We'll also add 21,025. And you can do some research on the web to find these as well, but I've already found them out for you here. 8384 is the web interface for syncthing. Okay, now we just need we want to allow our hypervisor to be able to access this computer, so we'll add it to the trusted zone in the firewall. So I already know, so let's do export an environment variable network underscore hypervisor underscore IP underscore address equals, and then we can find that out here. It should be 192.168.1.13. So that's what I expected. So I put that in here, and then I can do a sudo firewall -cmd space --add -source equals network hypervisor IP address /24, because it's on the /24 network there. --zone equals trusted space --permanent. I don't think I spelled that right. Permanent. Okay. Now we've made all those firewall rules. Let's make them active. Sudo space firewall -cmd -reload. Success. Okay. Now for the fun part, we're going to create a system service, and I'm just going to copy and paste this in, but you can find the instructions down below how to do this. We create this file in /usr/lib/systemd/system/syncthing@.service. That @ means you can choose the username to run it as, and it'll plug that username right here in its user. So it's pretty clever. This can run for multiple users on the same system. You can create more than one service for each user. Okay, so it'll run the syncthing binary there with these parameters, which are great. Anyway, so we should have a system service. We'll do a sudo systemctl daemon reload, but we're not going to actually run it. We're not going to run syncthing and activate it, because this is our base image and we just want the application ready to run, but we're not going to run it right now. Okay. So one more thing, we're going to be creating a lot of passwords. And so I want to install my favorite password manager, Password Gorilla. This is a completely compatible application with the Android app Password Safe. Password Safe is also available on Windows and probably Mac. So I love that. And with Syncthing, you can keep your passwords securely in sync on all your devices. We will be setting up several passwords, and it is nice to keep track of them in a password safe. But you're going to have trouble with your iPhone, by the way. Okay, so here's what we do. Sudo yum install -y git. We already have git, itcl, tcl, and tk. This is another new programming language that Password Gorilla is written in. That's a scripting language. So we'll get those dependencies here. Meanwhile, I think we could install some directories here. Sudo mkdir /usr/local/src/gorilla. And we're going to make that directory ours, the user and group to be me, C Tate. Okay, now that's done installing, so let's do a git clone https://github.com/zdin a/gorilla.git into usr/local/src/gorilla. Okay, now we have our password gorilla sources, and there's nothing to compile. Let's just cd into /usr/local/src/gorilla, and we'll check out the latest stable release, which is this one here, git checkout that. And we will copy the sources to a new directory, sudo cp --r usr/local/src/gorilla/sources /opt gorilla, and so you'll be able to find them there. And now we'll give we'll make my user the owner of that, and group opt/gorilla. I forgot a -r, big R. Okay. All right, now I'm going to paste this in, but you can find this down below. We will create a desktop entry so that you can find it in your applications. Otherwise, the system won't know about it. Okay, now you should be able to find it with a simple application search for Gorilla or for password. There we are. Cool. So we won't worry about that right now, but it'll come in handy later. So at this point, we are ready to start using this as a base image for other virtual machines. I recommend shutting down the virtual machine. So shut down, shut down. Then you can copy this image to use for other virtual machines, or use this directly as a base image for other QCOW2 files, which can actually layer as many QCOW2 files as you want on top of each other in your virtual machine. Open source virtualization is pretty amazing, eh? Thanks for watching.